Okay, so some more details about dictionaries. I just want to show some of the things that can be done with dictionaries and some of the details that are useful. So I've set up a basic dictionary here with a few other things. So we'll talk about this import pprint in a second. So I have a dictionary. It's got a lot of details in it. It's got it's all about a picnic. So I've got a picnic. I've got some plates. I've got napkins. I've got forks. I've got spoons. I've got ducks. I've got fish. I've got all kinds of interesting things. And so what I want to talk about is it's actually dictionaries are iterable in the same way that lists are iterable. So I can say for I in picnic, of course, I, the variable itself doesn't make any difference, but for I in picnic.keys. So what we've done, if you remember, the keys puts back a list-like object that is a list of all of the keys that exist in this particular dictionary. So I've got for I in keys, and so I'm going to iterate through each of the key identifiers, and then I'm going to print out what I am bringing, and then I'm going to say this is then going to cast to a string all of the values associated with this particular key, and so I'm indexing into the dictionary the key level of I. So I am bringing however many or whatever of this particular key item. So I'm just going to remove these other things. I'm going to comment them out just for now, and so we can see what that looks like. So I've got this, and so I'm going to run it. Now, when I run it now, it says, okay, I'm bringing 10 plates, I'm bringing 20 napkins, I'm bringing 10 forks, and so on. I'm also bringing some smelly fish. And so we can iterate through a dictionary simply by using the for statement. Now, I wanted to show, when your dictionary is like, there's no, practical limit to how big a dictionary can be. So I'm going to run this and I'm just going to print what this particular dictionary looks like. And it's not a particularly appealing printout of all of these values. You can imagine that if you took and you created a really large dictionary, it would just keep on scrolling over and over and over again. It would be pretty crappy to look at. And so in comes this other class called pprint. A lot of people call it prettyprint. So I'm going to import prettyprint, and I'm going to use the actual prettyprint function. And what it's going to do is it's going to clean up what the printing of a dictionary looks like substantially. So when I run this, we can be able to compare the two. And there we go. And so what it's going to do is it just changes the way that the dictionary is printed more into sort of ordered pairs so that it's much more readable than this, right? So it's a lot more obvious that there are all of my keys and there are all of my values. And not only that, it also it prints it interestingly in alphabetical order according to the key. So the key is ducks, comes before fish, comes before forks, and knives, napkins, plates, spoons, and there we go. So we have these dictionaries that we can prettyprint, we can iterate over. There's a lot of different things that we can do. Now, if we want to pull values from our dictionary, so imagine, so I've got access to it here, right? So I can just print picnic, and you can see it, there it is. Imagine that I wanted to pull out the value, and I thought that not only that, I had also brought desserts. So if I wanted to say picnic, and then and I'm going to index, so I can index for something I do have, so plates, and I can see what the value is that goes along with that. So here it is. It says, oh, I've got 10. But imagine that I thought that I had brought along, I don't know, ice cream. And I do that, and what's going to happen is I'm going to get a key error. So here's my key error, and I get that key error, of course, because I didn't actually bring ice cream. So what we have is we have a get function built into dictionaries that will let us get a default value if it doesn't exist, but it will get the actual value if it does exist. So imagine that I said picnic dot get, and then I wanted to get plates, and so if I wasn't 100% sure the plates were there, I can add a default value for this so that if plates isn't there, it will return 0 because that's the default I've passed. Now, in this case, hopefully it doesn't say 0, it should say 10 because plates are actually there. There we go. Whereas if I said picnic dot get and I said ice cream, and I need to wrap that in parentheses, my apologies. So ice cream, and we can add a default value here of 0. And so this time, instead of getting an error, it passes us back the default value of 0. So what that lets us do is it lets us avert any error that we would have gotten because that actually wasn't there. Now let's say that, I remember later on that, in fact, I actually have ice cream that I'm going to bring along. So how would I add that? There's not really an append. What we can do is we can simply say, oh, picnic. And then I'm going to say, by the way, I've actually got ice cream. And it's going to be, I'm going to bring along 20 ice cream because who doesn't like ice cream? And so now if I just do picnic and we look at it, you can see that we've actually got the ice cream entry in there. And if we wanted to, we could say pprint dot pprint, and now we're going to do picnic again. Should print it a little bit nicer. There it is, and so ice cream shows up there. It's going to be 20. But we have to be really careful because this doesn't just add in new values. It's the exact same statement if I wanted to update a value. So let's imagine that, napkins, we didn't actually bring 20 napkins. We only brought 10. So we could say that picnic, I'm going to say I want to update the napkins, and I want to make it now to be 10. And so if I look at picnic now, napkins now just shows as being 10.